Hey guys, we have a Pisces new moon to talk about today. This will be our last new moon of this, technically our 2022 natural new year, astrological lunar year that begins with the new moon in Aries every spring, right around the time of the equinox, usually not on that specific day, but around then when the sun and the moon come into an alignment in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac on an energetic level. That is when we begin our lunar cycle, our lunar new year according to at least the Western zodiac. But that being said, we are at the end. We are at the last lunar cycle of our 2022 astrological lunar new year, the Pisces being the 12th sign of the zodiac, this being the last alignment of the sun and the moon before they come back together in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So we are closing chapters, you guys. We have come to the end. There, I feel like, is a lot in the field, the energy field, about endings and beginnings. I mean, of course, being simply a Pisces cycle, Pisces is a mutable sign. This is a very transitional energy as it is, sort of fading out of one thing, fading into something else. But I feel like sort of there's an extra layer of intensity in the regard of like the transformative aspect of this particular kind of energy of this new moon cycle this year. I think this new moon in Pisces cycle is going to be a lot more active, a lot more like a lot busier, and also a lot more intense than a lot of Pisces cycles are. Pisces is sort of a more like laid back, relaxed, go with the flow type of energy, not the most like active and engaging type of energy. But this particular new moon, I mean, we've got Mercury making a trine to Mars and simultaneously a square to Uranus. So this is some sparks flying for sure, and a very highly energized and mentally stimulated period of time that we're about to be moving through. We also have the new moon itself happening in a 4-degree off orb conjunction to Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Now, of course, the new moon is happening in the sign of Pisces, the sun and the moon come into alignment in the sign of Pisces, and Saturn is in Aquarius. So this is an out of sign conjunction, but I still feel like, just because of the proximity, and Saturn is going to be moving into Pisces very soon as well during this cycle. So there's a strong Saturnian influence that is also going on. And simultaneous to that, we also have the ruler of the sign of Pisces, Neptune, in a 4-degree orb, that number 4 again, these 4-degree orbs off conjunction with Venus at the very, very last critical degree of the sign of Pisces, who of course is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and Neptune rules Pisces. So this is a very powerful conjunction. If you guys have been following my channel, I have been talking all week about how we've been in this kind of powerful manifestation window because of the strong Saturnian influence, also simultaneously being colored by this like strong Venus, Neptune, and Pisces influence, the ability to sort of translate our dreams into reality if we're working with the energy the right way. And that is kind of what universe has been pushing us towards through the dissemination of these energetics at this point in time when we're also at this very transitional period, not only in our Pisces cycle right now, but also in the context of our greater transition into the age of Aquarius. So I do feel like this manifestation energy is being indicated throughout the course of the rest of this Pisces cycle as well. And as we close out this 2022 astrological lunar cycle, even though, of course, like I said, we are in the 2023 new year, of course, but grounding our goals, grounding our dreams into reality, really aligning with the higher truth and our higher desires and, what we really like idealize and wish for and dream for, but simultaneously doing the work to get there and preparing for that experience to come into our lives through, what we're doing now, and allowing ourselves simultaneously to sort of like emotionally align with the experience of whatever we wish to attain and move towards. So there is like a multi-layer component to the way that this energy is working to help us manifest at this period of time. But I do feel like that is definitely another thing that is super incorporated in our Pisces new moon that we have going on. And then the last aspect that is like hitting pretty hard, packing a pretty serious punch for our new moon in Pisces right now, is also Venus being an exact sextile to Pluto, which is a primary aspect. A sextile is a pretty significant aspect, and this is a facilitating aspect. This is an assisting aspect. It helps things to happen. But the fact that they are both simultaneously at 29 degrees of their sign, the very last degree in that sign, this is some pretty crucial, significant, and transitional endings, and also beginnings in relationships, in finances, and things, all things pertaining to and based in value systems, what we value in terms of currency and money and stuff like that, our own sense of self-worth and self-value, relationships, like I said, partnership dynamics of all types, the way that we're making money, what we find pleasure in, what we find comfort in, our perception of like abundance and quality and beauty, all of this type of stuff. It's as I've been saying, we're sort of coming to the end of an era in terms of how we related to the past versions of ourselves and how we did relationships in the past and what it is that we like actually truly want and desire. A lot about this 2022 lunar year, lunar cycle that we are coming, like, this is the last little segment of right here, had to do with, I felt like, getting to know ourselves again, like re-recognizing ourselves, like aligning the relationship that we have to our own selves in a much more authentic and real way. And as a result of that, this creating a lot of waves rippling outwards in our lives that began to shift and realign a lot of the relationship dynamics. And with Pluto ruling death and rebirth and transformation and purge and purification, and it's the Phoenix rising energy. It's also deeply healing, deeply regenerating, deeply subconscious and psychic, and these impulses that rise like from the depths. There's a very extraordinary power, I feel like, that is kind of present throughout the course of this Pisces cycle that is really just like awakening from within us and driving a lot of the transformations and changes that are going on right now. But in the sign of Capricorn, where Pluto is, this has to do with these like long-standing commitments or limitations, or where places and ways that we've been like chained in or held in, or the rules that we've sort of held ourselves to, like a lot of changes in terms of the structures and the forms that we are adhering to in the boundaries as well, in terms of like relationships and where we are surrendering our power, where we giving our power away out of any sense of that maybe lack of value or faulty perception internally. So, this is the type of thing that is really going to be ushering us out of one way of being and feeling and relating and desiring, and moving us into a much more, like, I feel like, evolved version of how we are relating to ourselves, relating to others, and therefore also what we are attracting and magnetizing into our lives and the way that we are doing relationships going forward. The entire push of universe right now, you guys, is to help us rise into our potential and activate our destiny and wake up to our truth and do what we like originally signed up for, what we kind of came to this experience in order to do, which, because of the way the galactic blueprint, the cosmic blueprint, is playing out right now, has everything to do with ushering in this age of Aquarius, this frequency based but simultaneously like conscious awakening, right? Like evolution in terms of the collective of humanity and what that does in terms of the trajectory of life unfolding across like the entire universe, essentially. I mean, I'm sure it's not just happening here. Like, this is a galactic experience that is going on right now as things are sort of like brought up to a higher level. As we are in this shift and transition of ages right now into the age of Aquarius, which of course is this age of self-knowledge and enlightenment, essentially, and self-actualization, and ultimately co-creation with God and universe, really learning how to harness knowledge in order to create life force and to channel life force energy. Also, that being said, it brings back in the manifestation component that is so present for us as we close out this 222 year, which again, we are out of the 222 year. We are in the 2023 year, but on the energetic level, this is the last cycle of that specific energy that started in 2022, so it's kind of still technically energetically the 2022 year. And of course we're closing it out with a bunch of twos going on. The February 20th 2023 though, what we have at the end this time. But we're in this manifestation window, you guys, and universe is giving us like a boost this cycle almost in a magical way to help us move towards this process of like manifesting our goals in the face of whatever like circumstances may be happening on this greater level. And we're also, a transition of ages. There's also a past matrix that is simultaneously crumbling as we are rebirthing ourselves in alignment with our authentic potential, which is the necessary, like, that's the solution to the problems that we may be facing going forward. So universe is definitely on our side, and I do kind of feel like, you guys, this is likely to be a nice cycle, like almost a magical cycle, to be honest with you. There could be sort of like a magical, mystical quality to this new moon and this, the day, and sort of like the whole cycle, because of the Neptune and Venus emphasis going on, and even Venus and Pluto, again, like this like extraordinary force, this like deep power that's like rising and helping us to like, it's also release. We're talking about Venus and Pluto in a sextile, facilitating, assisting. Venus, the last degree of Pisces. This is like the ultimate in detachment energy. So, and Venus is the heart. So this is like facilitating our ability to let go of some things that we have been surrendering our power to, or that have been toxic, or that have been not beneficial to us, that have been stealing our power in some type of way, or just generally limiting our ability to expand into this higher version of ourselves in alignment with the truth of our heart that is coming through this Venus in Pisces energy, this relationship to the higher forms and higher versions of ourselves, and this also like yearning for a higher spiritual connection. That's another thing that's likely to be coming through this cycle as well, and sort of maybe adding to the more like mystical like tones of the experiences playing out, because there's also like in the heart, there's like this desire to reconnect, there's this desire to experience like the divine connection and the spiritual infusion and stuff like that, like on this very heart-based level, like we're sort of like yearning for it. And also with Pluto there, this is some very deep, powerful, and like unconscious things happening, going on, transformations, change in relationships, facilitating our release, moving on. So being the Pisces cycle, being the end of this cycle of this 222 year, all about, 222. This was about our relationship to ourselves, our relationship to others, harmony, balance, peace, stability in relationships, soulmates, divine unions, like the law of attraction, magnetizing, like attracting like. And also I felt like, through this process of us reconnecting internally with our own vibration, it then helping us to rearrange and shift the relationships in our lives to bring us a reflection essentially of what is truly going to like support that level of fulfillment that we are ultimately like seeking for within our heart. So I felt like this year, this 222 year, maybe not have been manifesting soulmates into our lives, but has been helping us go through a process of realigning like our frequency and our vibration in such a way in relation to our own self that then is setting us up to be able to attract who it is that will bring that sense of fulfillment in alignment with this 222 energy into our lives. And like, so here we are now closing out this cycle. And of course there is this huge emphasis on the release, the letting go, the surrender, the moving on, but also this deep and powerful regeneration and purge and purification and transformation, metamorphosis. We are getting an upgrade on a heart-based level in alignment with, again, this like higher version of ourselves, or like a more like what it is that we are like really wishing for on the more heart-based level that we may have not even realized was what we truly wanted in the past, if we were more caught up in like an ego-based version of ourselves or a more superficial version of ourselves. Because we've been going through this process of getting to know ourselves again, we're discovering what it is that we truly want, and that is, I feel like, what, we are at the end of what is no longer serving the like true glory of our heart, I guess we could say. So that being said though, like I do feel like with this Pisces, Neptune, Venus energy, and also the Pluto Scorpio or the Pluto Venus, and also even Saturn in proximity, like grounding things into reality, like events that occur could have almost a magical quality, and we may feel this power of the unseen much more keenly, than we usually do. Like there may almost be like a palpable sense of like just something extraordinary or magical that is kind of driving things unfolding throughout this period of time. There could also be somewhat of a dreamlike quality simultaneously. I mean, I guess these two things would kind of go hand in hand. If things seem like a bit more magical and like there may be like a greater sense of like mystery sort of like planted in the like physical in front of us, then I guess maybe we could perceive it as being a bit more dreamlike as well. Also, there could sort of be an emphasis on like people really sort of like enjoying and captivated by various forms of art and music, beauty, creativity, artistry, design, like that type of stuff could be stealing a bit of the primary focus over this next couple weeks with Venus, Neptune, and the end of Pisces for our new moon in Pisces, and also just this dreams into reality energy. Like our creations could be something that is sort of consuming our focus and like the conversation even and stuff over this period of time. Also our relationships for sure, like I said, financial stuff as well, and generally like relations with others, how we're relating with others, our friends, our social connections, and of course romantic relationships and that type of stuff. Also work partnerships. I do feel like there's likely to be quite a financial component to whatever is playing out right now. There's just an emphasis on Venus this cycle. For this new moon, Venus is making a lot of aspects. She's in the conjunction to Neptune, who is of course ruling this cycle. She's also at the last degree of the sign of Pisces in the sextile to Pluto, and Uranus, who is in a trine to, or a square actually, to Mercury, which we'll talk about in a minute, is also in Taurus right now, which is Venus's sign. So there could be some shakeups, some financial shakeups that we're sort of talking about. Venus in the sign of Pisces, this is also like endings and beginnings in financial situations, or coming to the end of certain types of partnerships or agreements and stuff like that, like in financial situations. So that could sort of be a focus as well. But universe is elevating. I do feel like universe is elevating these relationship and partnership situations this cycle, time of endings and beginnings to things to do with relationships, finances, transitions, transformations. There could be like a very strong dichotomy of things playing out right now as well. Like we're talking about the sign of Pisces. This is two fishes swimming in opposite directions. We have Mars in the sign of Gemini right now, which is in the trine to Mercury. People could be in situations, could be very polarized on one hand of things, but on the other hand, we could also find like people who are like for each other, like being extra kind of like for each other and on the same team and like bound together and united. So I feel like it's going to be a cycle where there's like sort of an emphasis on division on one hand, but simultaneously also on the other hand, like an emphasis on people being united, joining forces, and like banding together for certain things in certain situations and stuff like that. So like extremes on both sides of things in terms of like polarities and stuff coming up. I mean, of course, we've got a lot of twos going on as well. The new moon itself, I haven't even said this yet. I'm so sorry, you guys. It is happening. The new moon is happening at 2:06 a.m. Eastern Time, February 20th, 2023. It's happening in exactly 1 degree, 22 minutes of the sign of Pisces. So we've got two sort of everywhere. And then in the Sabian symbols, of course, we're going to be reading 2 degrees of Pisces, because when we look at the Sabian symbols, we round up a degree because energy moves in waves. So we look at the energy that is coming in, that is expressing, and that is a Sabian symbol we read. So we've got lots of twos all over our chart again to close out our 2022 lunar cycle. So I feel like this is, again, putting the emphasis on relationships, putting the emphasis on polarities, putting the emphasis on division, but also attraction, magnetism, things like attracting like, and simultaneously like things being polarized as well. So we've got that. Let's talk about Mercury in the square to Uranus and in the trine to Mars for a minute. This is a simultaneous aspect. Mercury is at 13 degrees of Aquarius for our new moon, and Mars and Uranus are both at 16 degrees of their signs. Uranus, the sign of Taurus, Mars, the sign of Gemini. So it's likely, again, like, very different than normal Pisces cycle energy. Pisces cycles are usually more laid back, like I said, like go with the flow, like kind of just like chilled out a little bit. This is a more like low key vibe, but not when we have Mercury in a trine to Mars and a square to Uranus. This is likely to be a cycle of like sudden flashes of insight, mental stimulation. We're going to be very mentalized energy, like almost like I said, like hyper stimulated about stuff. There could be lots of anxiety, like anxious tension, an inability to sleep and stuff like this. And we're likely to be fascinated though by things that are new, things that are innovative. There is likely to be an emphasis on both the sky and the air element, and simultaneously things happening on the ground. And we could have Mercury in the square to Neptune, or I mean in the square to Uranus. Like this could honestly bring about some more of these like weird transportation issues that are sort of happening out of nowhere. There could be issues with ground transportation and issues with air transportation as well. Likely to be lots of changes to plans and schedules at the last minute, and things are probably going to be very fast paced and almost though kind of exciting in a way. Passions are likely to be running quite high. We are likely to have sort of like a fire lit up under us to make something happen. We're going to really want to try to stay grounded this cycle, especially also being a Pisces cycle with Venus and Neptune together. This is like very daydreamy, imaginative energy. People are going to be pursuing these visions that are coming to them. We're talking about this manifestation window, this dreams into reality cycle as well in this Pisces energy. And with Mercury, the mind, coming into contact even by square with Uranus and also the trine to Mars, this could be some real inspired ideas that are coming in that we are sort of like taking and running with, being very focused. People could be really working towards something that they want to attain or that they desire in like a very passionate and motivated way, and really talking about it too over this Pisces cycle as we close out this astrological lunar year. We should have a very sharp mind and be able to solve problems. This is a very good problem solving energy as well. Could be a scattered energy. Like again, that's something hard to stay focused, hard to concentrate because there's just so much information coming in so quick, and we could be like very changeable in our mind, even though simultaneously like really like getting, flashes of like, I need to do this, or I see this, or I figure this out, or wow, awakening, awareness, epiphany, but like kind of so much of it that it's hard to like process or, really stay focused or organized or like apply it in a productive way kind of at this period of time. Again, this is a very like fast paced energy as it's unfolding. Lots of surprising, shocking, unexpected news, headlines, information, meetings. It could be just a rather mind blowing cycle in terms of the information component, because we're talking about Mercury in square to Uranus, and it's from Aquarius and Taurus. Like this is resources, supplies, this is partnerships, this is money stuff as well, this is things to do with food, but it also has to do with the future. It's also, again, like Mercury and Aquarius, this is all about, what's going on in the sky and this air energy. And the square, if we are not careful, if we are too reckless, if we are too impulsive, this energy can sometimes lead to accidents. So we're going to want to try to, again, like try to stay as grounded as we can in this energy. People are probably going to be very impulsive, very spontaneous in their choices and decisions at this period of time. Also, with Mars in the sign of Gemini, which is about choices and about decisions, this is ruled by Mercury. So, Mars in trine to Gemini right now, or in trine to Mercury right now from the sign of Gemini, is really expanding, like emphasizing the Mars Gemini component of things even more. So this is also bringing up these choices and these decisions and this very like conversational, saying what's on our mind energy. People are probably going to be shocking you. People are probably going to be having something to say, messages that kind of like just totally come out of nowhere and are very unexpected and shocking. Something that we could definitely be experiencing throughout the course of this cycle. Shakeups, like I said, this Taurus, Mercury, Aquarius vibe, supply chains, transactions, payments, business, travel, air travel, ground travel, transportation, generally, the food supply, resources, and things to do with trade. Also, farming and agriculture could be things that are sort of experiencing some strange things or some unexpected situations right now. And there's also On a symbolic level, which we will get into the Sabian symbols in just a minute, there is this indication as well to sort of practice some situational and some self-awareness throughout the course of this Pisces cycle. Maybe exercise like a healthy level of skepticism and paranoia about things, and just sort of be on like our P's and Q's and not let our guard down like too terribly much. It is a very beautiful, beautiful energy, and there's a lot of very like positive personal indications that are coming through with us, like with this. Like I said, universe is really supporting us and trying to like make what we want happen for ourselves in this energy to help us turn some dreams into reality. We have a kind of springboard energetically for that type of thing this cycle, but we just don't sort of, we just want to, like I said, like just make sure that we are aware, you know, of where we're at, what's going on around us, and kind of like just stay in our faith, stay grounded in our faith in the face or in spite of or despite any maybe like perceived threats that we may feel like we are up against or experiencing. The new moon itself is happening at 2 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a squirrel hiding from hunters. So while, like I said, I do feel like this is generally like a really beautiful new moon cycle that we have going on here, there could just be a need to sort of just like protect ourselves in one way or another, or just like watch our back a little bit. And I don't feel like there's any, you know, specific threats that we need to necessarily be really worried about. But I just, again, feel like, you know, self-awareness, situational awareness, and also like, the thing is, like, the threat here may be more perceived than it actually is. Like, this is talking about a squirrel hiding from hunters. They're not necessarily out squirrel hunting, you know what I mean? Like, there's not necessarily, like, a specific threat to the squirrel itself. Like, they could be totally, like, hunting, like, a totally different type of animal and not interested in shooting squirrels at all. But the squirrel is just, you know, being aware, like being situationally aware and taking precautions. So I guess that is sort of what this is boiling down to for me. I feel like this is kind of a cycle where, you know, taking precautions about things may behoove us in one way or another, may not be a bad idea. Now, we also have the Earth at 2 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a large white cross, dominates the landscape. So this is obviously some very clear advice that we need to stay rooted in our faith and just not let anything shake us. You know, take precautions, but not live in a state of fear, okay? There could be just like a sense of generalized fear that is coming through on one hand this cycle, and that's not what we want to manifest, okay? Because there is this very strong energy for manifestation, and we want to be manifesting in alignment with our spiritual truths, you know what I mean, with this Neptune Pisces energy, in alignment with our higher heart frequencies and vibrations, what it is we truly desire, coming from this place of spiritual connection, which means that we root ourselves in our faith and we manifest from that energy, not from the lower octave fear-based energy of any perceived threats that we may feel like we're up against or having to navigate at this period of time. We also have Mercury at 13 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a barometer. And this also, I feel like, is sort of talking about or speaking out an ability or a sensibility to like gauge the atmosphere around us, like a sensitivity to the pressure that may be building around us, to what's going on, to the atmosphere that's existing, and just sort of being able to, you know, be present, be aware of that, and like act accordingly, like manage our actions and our behaviors according to our read, I guess you could say, of what's going on around us, and just pay some good attention with Mercury being at that degree, gauging the atmosphere. We also have Neptune, though, 25 degrees of Pisces, ruling the Pisces cycle, the purging of the priesthood, talking about, first of all, purifying our faith, getting rid of or detaching ourselves from or moving away from anything that has been stealing our power or that has been out of alignment with integrity or authenticity or truth, or that has been a distortion of an authentic energy that has been limiting potential and growth in any type of way, or abusing power in any type of way. But within ourselves as well, this is sort of purging, releasing, and moving on from letting go of any type of false perceptions of our own power or where we've been surrendering our power, where we've been giving our power away. We're taking our power back in a way that can be utilized to our authentic and utilized to support our authentic growth and potential moving forward. And then we've also got Venus at a very interesting degree, 29 degrees of the sign, well, actually 30 in terms of the Sabian symbol of the sign of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a majestic rock formation resembling a face, is idealized by a boy who takes it as his image or ideal. I can't remember which it is, image or ideal of greatness. And as he grows up, begins to look like it. So this is also like dreams into reality. This is also evolving into whatever the image is that we're holding in our mind. Self-actualization, transformation, becoming what we think about. Thoughts become things. Our visions turning into reality. The position of Venus, the ruling also where Uranus is right now and in the sextile to Pluto at the very last degree. Like, this is supporting a process of self-actualization. This is supporting a re-recognition of the truth of the value that we hold inside, of self-worth, of rediscovering our relationship to our own self, and a different level of self-love as well. But it's transforming relationship dynamics, you guys, and that is definitely one thing that we can expect throughout the course of this cycle. High-speed mental shifts, awakenings, our to-do lists being like electrified. I feel like this is going to be quite a busy month. Hyper-stimulated mentally, mental breakthroughs, this magical quality to the energy, to what's happening, to the events that are unfolding, and also this sort of like extraordinary force that seems to be like driving things under the surface, and just this more palpable or keen or tangible experience of the more unseen forces playing a more prominent role in our tangible reality throughout this period of time. I do think that this is going to be a magical cycle. I think ultimately, like I've said, this cycle is about wish fulfillment. I think this whole 2022 year has ultimately been about wish fulfillment, but doing so in a way that promotes authentic wish fulfillment and not like surface value or like vulnerable wish fulfillment, because it's coming from a place of authentic alignment based in growth and self-mastery and self-understanding and self-awareness and self-actualization. And as a result, this level of realness and truth that is going to bring a level of realness and truth that can only like fulfill and support who we are now, where we're becoming, in a way that is like just so much more purposeful, meaningful as we move forward into the next chapter, into the next phase of this experience. Wish fulfillment, I do feel like, is the ultimate push of where this energy is taking us. And I feel like this cycle is also about releasing, letting go of, again, moving on from things that have been out of balance with all of these twos, any type of lack of justice, any type of lack of like internal peace, anywhere we, again, have been lack of reciprocity, like accepting less than we are giving or that we know we deserve. I feel like this is what is going. This is what we are coming to the end of. We're also talking, of course, about the sign of, or the planet Venus, the sign of Libra, which is the scales, which is balance, which is harmony. There's a harmonization going on that is helping to, like I said, like elevate us, bring us up to another level in terms of how we are relating to our own heart space energy, and therefore how we are connecting and relating to others. Because the push right now is to help us realign the relationship dynamics and components of our lives in a way that are going to be supportive of our growth and our personal process of self-actualization, and therefore our experience of like true fulfillment moving forward. So that's what we're saying about this Pisces cycle, you guys. Very transformative, endings and beginnings, very powerful relations and like ongoings and situations with others. There could be some really deep, penetrating, powerful conversations or meetings or interactions going on. There's also this like fire lit up underneath us, this electrified sense of I don't know, like drive pushing us forward, but also yeah, it's like the old magic, like reawakening to like move things into the proper places. So what can happen next in this like grand, unfolding, epic transition of ages can do so in like the best way. Okay, we've got a synchronicity card now. It just fell on the floor. This is going to be our advice from God's spirit universe as we are moving through this energy over this next couple weeks. All right, and it says focus. So we've got the focus card, and then we've also got the no on card. This card fell out too. So if there's a question, if you've been wondering something, there's a possibility that the answer to that, if you just like happens to be crossing your mind or on your mind in this moment when you're watching this video, could be no. And this card also, I feel like it's also talking about like on simultaneously, like things are getting started, like again, like this ending and beginning type of energy. No and on. Okay, anyways, focus is our card, our synchronicity message that we got for the day. And like I said, this is probably some good advice because it may be kind of hard to focus over this next couple weeks on anything that is not like aligned with like what we're trying to visualize or imagine or create and what we're very like inspired and enthusiastic about. Lots of distractions, you guys, could be coming in. Mercury square Uranus trine Mars. That's like distractions. That's like not even being able to get like halfway through one thing before something else comes in and is like diverts our attention, is like, no, you need to do this now. And then like getting like a little bit of the way through that and something else comes in and we're like off in this direction. Now we find ourselves like just with all of this stuff going on and like nothing completely done. And like the list is just getting bigger and bigger. And we're like, like overwhelmed. And we just sort of want to like go on a vacation or like escape reality for a little bit or get caught in our daydreams or fantasy or sleep, like take some extra sleep. That's another thing. People are probably going to be like not sleeping enough over this next couple of weeks. So anyways, back to this. The card is focus. Thou will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. Focus your thoughts on God and on that part of you that is God. Tune in on God and his serenity over your life. When you can still your mind and think of God and be at peace in your mind, everything around you will fall into a peaceful routine in your home life, your business, and in all aspects of your life. Stay in this state of mind and you will prosper beyond your wildest dreams. This literally could not be a more appropriate message for the overall message of this report. When you can still your mind and think of, and it's talking even about like, think of God, like be present, in our faith, in the universe, like in where we're going. When you can think of God and be at peace in your mind, right? Everything else will fall into place. Peaceful routine in your home life, in your business, in all aspects of life. And remember where the earth is for this new moon at 2 degrees of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a large white cross, dominates the landscape. So the goal this cycle in the midst of all of this, probably like on one hand intense, transformative, crazy, busy, like off the wall, honestly, type of energy. Focusing on God, focusing on universe, great spirit, whatever you're, however you connect to a higher power, and just, doing our best to be at peace in the faith that we're going to get through this period of time and everything's going to be fine. We're going to make it and you will prosper beyond your wildest dreams. That's exactly what I said. Like, this is wish fulfillment energy. This is a wish fulfillment cycle. Things could be a bit scattered and crazy, but this is where this energy is pushing us towards as we close out this 222 year energetic astrological cycle and prepare for our new moon in Aries next month, you guys, which is going to be bang, bang, pow, big, dramatic. Pluto entering Aquarius as well. Okay, so that's where we're going. This is where we're at now. And I hope that you guys liked it. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of content, like this video, like this type of astrology as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your feedback. I love knowing how this energy is affecting you guys. You're the best ever. And thank you so much again. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, an Instagram, some other social medias in my description box below. If you're into any of that, I write a blog that goes along with these videos and I post it over there as well. Although, to be honest with you, the past 2 or 3 days, I have been so freaking busy. I've written the blogs and I just haven't even had the opportunity, had the time to post them. which is crazy. But anyways, usually I post the blogs over there. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We have an exact Mercury Uranus square tomorrow. This could be a bit weird day, weird information and stuff. And then on the day after that, we have Mars an exact trine to Mercury. So this energy from the new moon, this mentalized energy, this hyperstimulated energy is going to like pick up over this next couple days. So I'll be here to talk about it. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then. Have a beautiful new moon, everybody. And until next time, bye guys.